Today we will talk about Apache Airflow. With the help of Airflow, we can schedule tasks or we can create workflows. Workflows meaning a set of tasks. We can build and monitor automated pipeline. Like for data processing, we can create ETL and ELT pipeline. For infrastructure, we can monitor, create, delete pods or any infrastructure related activities. For business operation, like we want to generate daily reports. For ML operation, we can use for training a model incrementally or one time. So you can say Airflow is very useful when we want to automate something or we have some work which we can execute on daily basis or on some particular interval, or you want to monitor it, you want to retry it, or you can halt on based on some conditions. So it's a platform, it's a framework where we can build ETL pipeline using Airflow. Airflow has a capability of a DAG, which is directed acyclic graph. We can create task we can create using operators. It has a lot of operators. We can use scheduler and executor. With the help of that, we can schedule, monitor, and execute the task. So what is a DAG? DAG is a directed acyclic graph. Directed meaning a task have some dependency. One task depends on another task. When we are dealing with multiple tasks or we have workflow of a set of tasks. Acyclic, there will be a dependency on task, but there will be no loop, no cycle, or task will be acyclic. It's a one-way path. One task output goes to another task as input. Graph meaning visual representation of workflow. So if you visualize all the states, all the processes or the task, so it looks like a graph where one task has some dependency for the input on another, which is previous task. So you can see here one example. It's a very traditional example for a ETL when we're doing data processing. Here you can see we have three stages: extract, transform, and load to database. So assuming you want to create or you want to build a pipeline around these three stages. So we will define three tasks on a very high level using Python operator, or based on your database integration you can use any database operator also. But in a simple way, suppose you want to just automate in a simple way, so you have to define three operator like extract operator, transformer, and load. Extract will extract the data and then it will pass on to transform. Transform will filter out, aggregate, clean up, all these operation will do, and then pass on to load stage. The load task will store into database, target database. So you can see it's a one way, it's like a one direction or one way graph. There is a no cycle. And if something happened, something wrong happened, then we can retrace. That capability is available. Or you can halt the process if you want to manually check the errors. Okay, operators are very useful. With the help of operators, we can build the task. So Airflow has a different type of operators like Python operator, Bash operator, Postgres, email, BigQuery, simple, and so on. If you want to execute Python code, you can use Python operator, which is very common. If you want to uh, execute Bash or shell commands, then you can use Bash operator. Postgres, if you are dealing with the database or like Postgres or MySQL, then you can use. So these kind of operators are available, so you can easily build your task without any hesitation, without writing unnecessary code. So it will provide you enough flexibility to deal with or to communicate with external sources like databases, storages, or any service. Let's jump on demo part. Here you can see Airflow UI. You can see the basic dashboard where we have a list of running tasks, successful, failed. If I click on DAGs, you can see our default DAGs given by Apache Airflow and some of the custom DAGs or workflow I have created. This one I have created math operation. If I select this one, you can see it has four tasks: multiplication task, addition task, division, and subtraction task. We have, and these tasks written using Python operator. So you can see as per the visualization, division task depends on multiplication and addition task, and subtraction task depends on multiplication and division task. If you quickly see the code, we can write this DAG code using Airflow library. So first we will need to define a for function for the addition logic, multiplication logic, division number, and subtraction. And after that we will have to wire them all. For the wiring purpose, we will need to use Python operator, which will define the input and method calling behavior, and then the shift operator, right shift operator. With the help of that, we can define the dependencies. So if you see, if we suppose if we have to write a addition logic, so we will have to define a variable add task and then one Python operator where we will give task ID and which method we will need to call, which is add number, and what are the input parameters. Here we have static input parameters, and this method we are going to call. So add number method, here we have defined simple Python method where we are expecting two input parameter from the context, and then we add it, and then the output of it or the result or the sum of it are pushing into the map. It's a kind of a key map where you can, if you want to pass value to the next level or next task, then we will need to do this. So here we have to define the context and push the value, some value with some key name. Same way we have done for the multiplication, where we were we have defined the operator here, multiplication operator, the task ID, callable method, multiplication number, the input parameter, and we are multiplying here and passing the output of to the next level. So here you can see the key is n1 and n2. We can extract the value or sum of the function using this key only. Now coming to the third, for the division operator, we have to define the task and division number. Here we are not going to pass any input variable because we are expecting by default it should come. So in a division, if you see this code, we are extracting from the context. In a multiplication and addition, we already set the sum value of the result output into n1 and n2. So this n1 and n2 we will need to extract. So this is the way we can extract, we can pull the value. The task ID is add task and multiplication task, mul task, and the n1 and n2. And we can divide the number and push it again. Now pushing, we are pushing the key or pushing the output with n1 key. Okay. Now here is the combination because we are using same variable name, right? But here is the internally the Apache Airflow will create a combination with key name and the task name. If you see this, whenever we are pulling the values, so it will pull the value with the help of combination, the task ID and the key. Okay. So it will not, so n1 if you see we have already used here in addition number, but this addition number has a different task ID. Okay, so it will not override addition number value. This division number output will be different from the addition method. Same way we can do an addition number. We are one input we are extracting from the multiplication task and one input we are extracting from division task, and will subtract the value and just return the result. Here we are not pushing to further because this is the last task and this is the dead end. So this operator we have already defined. Here we are just calling the methods and defining the input parameter. The last piece of code is this one. Here we are defining the dependencies. We can here the special operator given by Airflow, which is right shift operator. With the help of that we can define the dependency like addition task and multiplication task. Here we can say the division task has a two dependency for addition and multiplication, and same way subtraction task has a dependency of multiplication and the division. So this is the way we can define the dependency. So this is the high level code. Now we can just go to the run. Here I have already run multiple times just to test my code. Let me trigger it again. Here is the trigger button. We can trigger it one time. Now if you see this, the work, this is the run created. If we click on this run, the run is still running. Now it's completed. If you see, all the stages are green, and if I click on particular stage you can see the logs. Here the input multiplied, the output is 24. In addition, 5 plus 8 equal to 8, 5 plus 3 equal to 8. And if we go to division task, here we are dividing the two output of 8 divided by 8, which is coming from multiplication and addition task. 0, the output is 0.33, and in subtraction you can see 24 minus 0.33. These these two value coming from division task and the multiplication task. So through the log, you can easily see what's going on inside Airflow, or if you want to, if you have something, if you want to check the logs, you can easily see everything is working fine or not. And also this uh, green color will tell you everything is working fine and no problem in the task logic. Yeah.